Hi guys, good evening and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I will be discussing what I thought of the latest and so emotional and great episode of The Last of Us, which dropped earlier tonight on Max. I just got done watching it, thoroughly enjoyed it. Before I get into all of that, of course, please be warned, this is a spoiler-filled review, so if you're not caught up on The Last of Us by this most recent episode, which is episode 6 of season 2, you do not want to keep watching or listening, as I will be going into spoilers, plot details, character stuff, all that jazz. That being said, you have been warned. Let's dive right back into it. Spoilers starting now. Well, as temporary and as brief as it was, Joel's back, baby! Well, only temporarily, and of course in the form of flashbacks, since sadly he was brutally killed a couple episodes ago. But it's always a delight seeing Pedro Pascal in literally anything. So it's nice. It was nice to see him again, even if it was in just flashbacks. This episode provided a lot of context for a couple of things. The two big ones is why and how Joel killed Eugene, Gail's husband, his therapist's husband. So now we have context for that. Oh, I almost forgot Joe Pantoliano was going to be in this show until I saw him. I'm like, oh, that's right. I saw his casting announcement announced a short while back. They didn't say who he'd be playing in this show, just that he would be participating in it. And there he was as ill-fated Eugene. So it's great to see him. He's a talented actor. And then, of course, it explained a big question a lot of people had after last week's episode, which was, how did Ellie know the truth about the Fireflies, and when did Joel tell her? Well, turns out he told her basically the night or shortly before the day he died, before the Horde attacked Jackson Hole, before their confrontation with Abby. It was basically the last person-to-person conversation they had. As painful as that was, I like to think it was left on a relatively positive note, because Ellie does say, I'm going to try to forgive you. I don't know if I can, but I'm going to try to forgive you. And it was rather beautiful that Joel told her the truth, tearfully, brokenheartedly, of course, but he didn't lie to her this time about the Fireflies. And I also thought it was really interesting and really clever that the show did this, that they took another tragic character death, Eugene's, and they used that as an opportunity to expose Ellie to the truth or confirm the suspicions that she always had or had recently, that Joel wasn't telling her the full story about what happened with her being rescued from the Fireflies and what really went down. And it was through that whole I promise look he gave her, where her worst fears were confirmed or realized, that he lied to her back at the end of season 1, and she's finally put the pieces together now. So yes, it was heartbreaking in a sense that was their last exchange or conversation they had right before Joel's death. But I think it came from a place of love, and they were still able to communicate with each other in a sense where it's like they could let the other know, I still love you. I still care about you. Despite this horrible revelation, I still care about you. At least that's how it seemed to me when Joel was telling her the truth. And then when she said that she couldn't forgive him, but she was going to try to, was also, I think, an attempt on her end to try to accept or forgive, not necessarily forget, but forgive him for what he had done in order to save her life. And the stuff everything that happened before, the flashbacks with her different birthdays, was cute and touching, and it's nice to see them share a few scenes where they weren't in imminent danger by people or by clickers, but they were just genuinely enjoying themselves, enjoying life, enjoying that awesome dinosaur statue and that really cool museum where she just let her imagination run wild and she imagined she was in space. He even found audio from the exhibit or of somebody talking on on a radio like they when they were in space. I mean, that's just dad of the material year right there. I also thought it was interesting. What I really liked was the opening scene, and I don't like seeing domestic violence happen in real life or in entertainment, so I braced myself for the worst. But I was pleased with how the opening scene tricked us into thinking Joel was going to get a beating on behalf of his brother from their prick dad. But it seems like their dad acknowledged the fact that he is not a perfect father and that he's raising them the way his dad raised him, which doesn't sound that great either. But then he imparts on to Joel, and Joel later imparts it on to Ellie. Someday when you have your own kids, maybe you'll do better or maybe you'll be better. And I liked how Joel's dad said that to him, and then Joel said it to Ellie. You know, it's like instead of passing down generational trauma, they're passing down words of wisdom. So I thought that was a nice touch, because I was like, oh, here it comes. He's going to beat the hell out of him. Oh, no, never mind. It was just a tense but good conversation. And then Catherine O'Hara's scenes were both emotional and incredibly funny. Not the scene when they bring Eugene's body back. That was very sad. I'm talking about when Joel approaches her in the coffee shop and she's like, do I have a fucking sign on me that says the doctor is in, like I'm Lucy from Peanuts? Super funny, excellent delivery. That's just Catherine O'Hara being just naturally hilarious with little to no effort, because she's just that funny and that good. But then it was also heartbreaking to see her later at the sight of her dead husband, which was also tragic, but explains why she held so much contempt and resentment towards Joel, understandably, of course. So overall, a solid episode, and I cannot believe next week is already the big season finale. What's going to happen? What's going to go down? Those of you who play the game probably have a pretty good idea of what's coming. Will we get an eventual confrontation between Ellie and Abby? Who will come out on top? We'll have to watch to find out, but I'm excited about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did. What did you think of it? I'd love to hear your thoughts and feelings on it. Have a wonderful rest of your night. The Season 2 finale of The Last of Us drops next Sunday on Max. Have a great rest of your night, everyone. And of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.